Now I will sing a song about his vineyard, to the one I love. My beloved has a vineyard, on a very fertile hill. He plowed it and took out all the rocks and planted his vineyard with the choicest vines. He built a watchtower and cut a wine press in the rocks. He waited for the harvest, but the grapes that grew were wild and sour, and not at all sweet as he expected. Now, men of Jerusalem and Judah, you have heard the case. You be the judges. What more could I have done? What did my vineyard give me wild grapes instead of sweet? Why did my vineyard? I will tear down the fences and let my vineyard go to pasture to be trampled by cattle and sheep. I won't prune it or hoe it, but let it be overgrown with briars and thorns. I will command the clouds not to rain on it any more. I have given you the story of God's people. They are the vineyard that I have spoke about. Israel and Judah are his pleasant acreage. He expected them to yield a crop of justice, but found bloodshed instead. He expected righteousness, but in the cries of the deep, oppression met his ears. You buy up property so that others have no place to live. Your homes are built on the greatest estates so you can be alone in the midst of the earth. But the Lord of hosts has sworn your awful fate. With my excuse me. With my own ears, I have heard him say, many a beautiful home will lie deserted, their own owners killed or gone. The acre of the vineyard will not produce a gallon of juice. 10 bushels of seed will yield but 1 bushel of crop. Woe to you who get up early in the morning to a long drinking bouts that last till the to go along drinking bouts that last till the late at night. Woe to you drunken bums, you who furnish lovely music at your grand parties, the orchestrates who are superb. But for the Lord you have no thought or care. Therefore I will send you into the exile. I will send you into exile far away, because you have neither known nor care that I have done so much for you. Your great and honored men will starve, and the common people will die of thirst. Hell is licking its chops in anticipation of delicious morsel of this delicious morsel, Jerusalem. Her great and small shall be swallowed up in all her drunken throngs. In that day the haughty shall be brought down to the last dust, and the proud shall be humbled, but the Lord of hosts exalted above all, for he alone is holy, just, and good. In those days flocks will be fed among the ruins, lambs and calves and kids will pasture there. Sorry, I remembered something that took me off my thought for a second. Someone was talking to me about Epstein today, and I said that the biggest sins that I had seen, and this is just the biggest sins that I had seen. Amen. Jesus loves you. Yeah, I love you. Have a good day. Praise the Lord. The Lord's voice is on my tongue every day. If I said my name was John, I would be giving up myself up to like a false prophet. Not like. That is like is in the actual term like. It's in the same. So, yeah. I mean, take my word at where you can grasp it. That's what it's easier to say. Easier for people to understand sometimes. So if I'm just a guy on YouTube that is really wise and reads the Bible and who loves God, you know, call me a blasphemer then if you want, for who I am. But they were asking me about Jeffrey Epstein, and I said, as far as I've seen, the biggest sin that I see there is the people are so shameful that they allowed themselves to be blackmailed. And because that's what that a lot of what the darker stuff was involved in. For Epstein was told that it was okay because his real friends were kind of abandoned him. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, the party prostitute guy. You know what I mean? He's actually kind of not good for us to be like publicly associated with him in any sense. And yay, and so who was privately associated with him? Most privately was the CIA, basically. You know? Because you know what kind of a real friend says, I'm not going to be publicly associated with you? That's not really a real friend. And that's the weird position that he was put in, with all these weird rituals that the rich people have. And yay, that's what I said, that they would be so shameful that they would not just say that, yeah, we have prostitutes sometimes, guys, and that would have kept Epstein out of worse trouble. And yet they abandoned their brother and let him get into creepy, weird, grosser shit with probably some other people. And then, you know, but all that being egged and abetted on by the state deep down, you know, and people just forget all that, you know. And so that's what's the most evil here, I think, is that they left their friend. And second most, the hypocrisy. No, I'm kidding. No, but second most, well, that they'd be so shamed as being blackmailed, to be blackmailed. And those are one and the same problem. Is what those are. Hello, I'm new here. Well, you know what? Probably most people are. I don't have many viewers or followers. There are a few consistent people who come, but welcome. Christ, I'm doing a Bible reading right now, and I just took a diversion to Epstein because I remembered what I was going to say to that person. Oh, I was going to say to him because he said, well, there's abuse that you haven't seen yet. Now let's see, well, tell me. I'm going to ask him, tell me what it is. He said, I have to look it up myself. It's like, well, okay. But like, I think everyone's talking about this right now. I follow Alex Jones on Twitter, but show me specifically what you're talking about. You know, I know what you're speaking of. I believe I do. But yeah, you won't say it because you guys are afraid to stand up straight within the waters. You aren't him. I don't mean to say it like that. Sorry, that's a egotistical sounding way of saying it. You know, that's the modern way of speech these days. You know, I don't know. It's fun. It's a fun way of speech, though. You know, we're getting more and more to classical language these days, and I love that. You know, the return of Africans is such good sleep time for our culture right now. I think, because a connection to the earth and mysteries people don't understand, and it makes them kind of drop their kind of perspectives because like so much of our culture is designed around like being like, oh, you got like super good with like numbers and math, and we're all like, yeah, let's try. I'm the best numbers at math, and I look down on everyone else, and yet like the most when you meet people, there's a sort of honor that you just see and respect, and then you can actually see that there's actually a mystery to reality that like actually even my hardest of deep statistics is missing because there's an average in differences, and you know when people are measuring like those number things between like Africans and like being able to do it, but intelligence is actually fundamentally the same, and so it's just distributed in this a very reflective way, you know. And that's also why that within films, I mean, you know, everything's all coherent. That's one of the reasons why films God is often portrayed as black, is because it's sort of this like um this reflection voice, you know what I mean, like the culture reflecting on itself, you know. And that the voice that means something you don't understand. Most don't, you know. Okay. And that's mostly actually words about not white and black and more like north and south, because obviously there are white folks and black folks. I have to do this because your guys' language is broken these days. I have to add on that little integer, that little appendix. Where were we? In those days, the flocks will feed among the ruins. Lambs and calves and kids will pasture there. Woe to those who drag their sins behind them like bullock on rope. They who even mock the Holy One of Israel and dare the Lord to punish them. Hooray! And punish us, O Lord, they say. We want to see what you can do. They say that that was right. They say that that was right and wrong, and what was wrong is right. That black is white and white is black. That bitter is sweet and sweet is bitter. Woe to those who are wise and shrewd in their way, in their own eyes. Woe to those that are wise and shrewd in their own eyes. Woe to those who are the heroes when it comes to drinking and boast about liquor so that they can hold, and boast about the liquor that they can hold. They take up bribes and pervert justice, letting the wicked go free and putting innocent men in jail. Therefore, God deal with them and burn them. They will despair like straw on fire. Their roots will rot and their flowers will wither, for they have thrown away the laws that God has dispersed. I should read louder because this is what this is all about, actually. Let me get closer. I realize that, this isn't a proper microphone. Therefore, God will deal with them and burn them. They will disappear like straw on fire. Their roots will rot and their flowers will wither, for they have thrown away the laws and despised God, the word of the Holy One of Israel. That is why the anger of thy Lord is hot against his people. That is why he has reached out his hand to smash them. The hills will tremble and the rotting bodies of his people will be thrown as refuse in the streets. But even his anger is not ended. But even so, his anger is not ended. His hand is heavy on them still. He will send a signal to the nations far away, whistling to those at the ends of the earth. They will come racing towards Jerusalem. They will never be weary, never stumble, never stopped. Their belts will be tight, their bootstraps strong. They will run without stopping for rest or sleep they will run without stopping, without rest or sleep. Ah, holy shit! You guys, I think you guys could take it. I think sleep is actually pretty healthy, to be honest. I mean, I love the enthusiasm, and when you sleep, dream of me, and yay, even in sleep and in potential, you are still heading to me like an arrow. But that's what they're talking about earlier. You need to be able to divine those things. That's not don't you gotta sleep. For those people, that'll make you go insane, and then you will have to start relying on drugs and being magic things in order to stay awake, and that'll just be a whole issue. What would be your reaction to alien contacts? That's hard because alien itself means you're talking about something that doesn't have an identity yet. You know what I mean? So my reaction, I would reach out a hand to shake at. I would reach their hand to shake their hand, and I would ask why they're here and who their God is, and if they know me. Um, Now, part of me expects there's a good chance there's a lot of it's just straight up monsters in outer space. I used to not believe that because I'm like, oh, well, it must be in outer space. In order to get to us, it must be coherent because you know what I mean. And that coherence must mean that they must know Christ and God, and the Logos and goodness and love and beauty, and that the highest and serves the lowest, and all those very sort of basic civil concepts that we understand for our society. They must be able to grasp those because they, in order to be able to self-sustain enough, genuinely self-sustain themselves enough through here. And you can't self-sustain yourself. You can only do that through worship of God. You know, and so actually that's that pulling out genuinely of good potential with the genuine good word. And so if they were to make it out here, I would think that they would be like that. You know, but you could also think about that in discoherence and in this madness, because we are at a time when people are worshiping a lot of false idols. That what might emerge from the unknown might be something that I have to transform first. It might be some monster, some mindless whale landing and being, what the fuck, that doesn't make sense. And it's like, well, actually, you can just pull out potential from nothing and fucking be, and so I'll have to explain that. I'm already trying to explain that to people. Uh, just as the joints of reality. I mean, it's still all the uncertainty
and the mystery of reality is still tucked away within sleep. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is probably is going to seem like, oh, I just talking about materialism. It's like, no, I'm not. There are times when the boundaries of reality kind of turn in on themselves a little bit and become looser during times of reflection, you know. And so, that Okay. All right. There we go. We're back. I held my phone overheated and I had to hold my water bottle to it to cool it off. I'm spitting too much fire out here, guys. You know about revelations and stuff. My phone wanted to show you guys. Uh, my phone. What am I talking about? This is just a practical example of how reality is weird sometimes. You know, talk to revelations and then my phone fucking overheats, and then I got to put water on it to balance that out or something. Reaction alien contact. Yeah, it could be fucking just big old fucking whale that I gotta be like, yeah, psychically could. I don't even know, But I think probably more the former answer I gave is makes sense. So there'd have to be if there was aliens from outer space, because of the technical uncertainty of like the likelihood of that even happening. Because like if there was like um, life forms, that happened, say, like anytime between now and the beginning of the Big Bang, with that curve of expansion, you would think that we'd see them very obviously. And so they would have to be very interesting, subtle beings, but yet still be completely coherent. And so, my expect if we're talking about beings from outer space, we're not talking about aliens. We're just talking about heavenly beings. It wouldn't be something like anything material, because you'd see that already. Like the odds are, with the expansion. You know what I mean? Like if yeah, the materialist path in its most coherent sense is what Elon Musk is doing, and you would see his plans in the sky a million times over. But it's not about that, you know. Instead, we see the sun and the moon in the sky. We see a spiral towards the heavens. We see an earth with the potential to be modeled in the image of heaven. And they even gave it in the picture of a seed. How cute. So I'm gonna set this right here because it'll be a little bit cooler. Damn, I set things to the side of me, dude. I lose things so freaking easily. Let me put this back right here for a second. Actually, that'll again. What we'll do, let's just close that. There we go. It's kind of loud there. Okay. Where was I? Nope. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Something that people should do, useful in reading the Bible, especially if you're an atheist. Don't read it like it's something like you're like, oh, well, I'm like an atheist, I can attack this. Just, you read it like I'm a Christian. If you want to do that, read it like it's a book. Do it like that. Read it like it's an old, ancient, epic book. At least do that. Can you have that much faith? And maybe you'll be fucking drawn in, All right. They never weary, never stumble, never stop. Their belts are tight, their bootstraps strong. They run without stopping, full rest without sleep. Their arrows are sharp, their bows are bent. Sparks fly from their horses, hoofs and their wheels and chariots spin like the wind. They roar like lions and pounce upon prey. They seize upon people and carry them off into captivity. Oh, these are bad people. That's why they're saying that they're bad. Like, not without sleeping. Yeah, it's not sleeping like that. It's not good. I don't think. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. They seize my people and carry them off into captivity, with none to rescue them. They growl over their victims like roaring over the sea. Over all of Israel lies a pall of darkness and sorrow, and the heavens are black. The year of King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. He was sitting on a lofty throne, and his temple was filled with his glory. Hovering about him were mighty six-winged seraphs. With two of their wings they covered their faces. With two others they covered their feet. With two they flew. In a great and antiphonal chorus they sang. Holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is filled with his glory. Such singing it was. It shook the temple to its foundations, and suddenly the entire sanctuary was filled with smoke. Then I said, my doom is sealed, for I am a foul-mouthed sinner, a member of the sinful, a foul-mouthed race, and I have looked upon the King, the Lord of heaven's armies. Then one of the seraphs flew over to the altar with a pair of tongs picked out of burning coal. He touched my lips with it and said, now you are pronounced not guilty, because this coal has touched your lips. Your sins are forever forgiven. Then I heard the Lord asking, whom shall I send as a messenger to my people? Who will go? And I said to the Lord, Lord, I will go. Send me. And he said, yes, go. But tell my people this. Through you, hear my words repeatedly. You won't understand them. Though you watch us, and watch us as I perform my miracles, still you won't know what they mean. Dull their understanding, close their ears, shut their eyes. I do not want to hear them or their understand. I don't want them to hear or them to understand, or to turn to me to heal them. Then I said, Lord, how long will it be before they are ready to listen? And he replied, not till their cities are destroyed, without a person left, and the whole country is utter wasteland, and they are all taken away as slaves to other countries far away. And all the land of Israel is deserted. Yet a tenth, a remnant, will survive. And though Israel is invaded again and again and destroyed, yet Israel will be like a tree cut down whose stump still lives to grow again. During the reign of Ahaz, son of Jotham, son of Uzziah. And by the way, I recommend you guys as you guys are watching this, pause and look up these names because it adds extra context. I used to do that all the time, but I'm not going to do that right now, obviously. But you pause, just type in Google Hebrew translation, type in name Hebrew translation. It'll just give you a rough approximation because there's a lot of names, and if you do that enough, it'll give you kind of a better picture than what you would have because the names aren't nothing. Every name is a name is means something. The origin of the word is associated with the name. So that's actually you need to know that. That's one of the problems with the I think with the Amalekites. Remember, like Amalek, the name Amalek is like the source of evil. People are like, oh, why is he killing the source of evil or the source of violence? And it's like, what? I don't remember exactly. It was something like that. And I'm like, you guys are not paying. Like, spend a second. First of all, like if this was like fucking like, I don't know, like the fucking Terminator or something, you guys would be like, oh yeah. I mean, but you say those are robots. I get it. I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know, whatever. There are examples. You guys can remember movies where it's like all the enemies are like, yeah, no, that's like, yeah. Not like Glorious Bastards. That movie's a little rough, to be honest. I think any of Glorious Bastards is a little mean, although I still love that movie. Django's passable. I fuck with Django. I fucks with Django hard as far as Quentin Tarantino movies go. Anyways, so Isaiah number 7, because Django is the only Quentin Tarantino movie. Yeah, I'm kidding. During the reign of Ahaz, the son of Jotham and grandson of Osiah, Jerusalem was attacked by the king Rezin of Syria. And the king, let me roll these up because we can hear better. I'm not smoking anymore. The son of Remaliah, but it was not taken. The city stood. However, when the news came to the royal court, Syria is allied with Israel against us. The hearts of the king and his people trembled with fear, as the trees in the forest shake in a storm. Then the Lord said to Isaiah, go out to meet King Ahaz, you and Shear Jashab, your son. You will find him at the end of the aqueduct which leads to Gihon. Spring to the upper reservoir, near to the road that leads down to the bleaching field. So that's interesting. So you will find him at the end of the aqueduct. It's like meeting someone in the sewer. It's like a secret meeting of some sorts. But at the other side links to a spring and a reservoir. So we continue reading. I'll probably understand this more. Near the road that ends to the bleaching field. What's a bleaching field? Probably exactly what it sounds like. It's where they take things and purify them. This is kind of like a representation of how you enter a new kingdom. You have to go. Okay, whatever. Let's continue reading. We'll understand the imagery. But that's really it's like a little tube, but on the other side is fertility, and then cleanliness, and then boom, you're in the other. You could then talk to the other king. Tell him to quit worrying. The Lord said, "Tell him he needn't be frightened by the fierce anger of those two, for the anger of those two has been those two has-beens, Rezin and Pekah. Yes, the king of Syria and Israel are coming against you. They say, we will invade Judah and throw her people into panic. Then we'll fight our way to Jerusalem and install the son of Tabeel as their king. But the Lord of God says, this plan will not succeed, for Damascus will remain the capital of Syria alone, and King Rezin's kingdom will not increase its boundaries. And within 65 years, okay, I'm getting hot. Within 65 years, Ephraim too will be crushed and broken. Samaria is the capital of Ephraim alone, and King Pekah's power will not increase. You don't believe me? If you want me to protect you, you must learn to believe what I say. Not long after this, the Lord sent a further message to King Azaz. Ask me for a sign, Azaz, to prove that I will indeed crush your enemies as I said I will. Ask anything you like, in heaven or earth. But the king refused. No, I will not bother with the Lord or anything like that. Then Isaiah said, O house of David, you aren't satisfied to exhaust my patience. You exhaust the Lord's as well. All right then, the Lord himself will choose the sign. A child shall be born to a virgin, and she shall call him Emmanuel, meaning God is with us. But by the time the child is weaned and knows right from wrong, the two kings you fear so much, the kings of Israel and Syria, will both be dead. But later on, the Lord will bring a terrible curse on you and your nation and your family. There will be a terror and within you and your family. There will be a terror such as not been known since the divination of Solomon's empire into Israel and Judah. The mighty king of Assyria the mighty king of Assyria will come with his great army. At that time, the Lord will whistle for the army of Upper Egypt, and Assyria too will swarm down upon you like flies to destroy you, like bees to sting and kill you. They will come in the vast hordes, spreading across the whole land, even to desolate the valleys and caves and thorny parts as well as you and your fertile acres. In that day, the Lord will take this razor. The Assyrians, take this razor. The Assyrians you have hired to save you, and will use it on you to shave off everything you have, your land, your crops, your people. When they finally stop plundering, the whole nation will be a pasture land. Whole flocks and herds will be destroyed, and a farmer will be fortunate to have a cow or two sheep left. But the abundant pasture land will yield plenty of milk, and everyone left will live on curds and wild honey. At that time, the lush vineyards, the honey, it's like the people left from them bees. There's a weird thing in Africa where if you see a particular type of bird, I don't remember the name because I'm not African, and if you follow it, it'll lead you to a beehive because humans have hands, we can get at it. Bears can kind of too because they almost have hands, but really they're just really big. Those beehives are really solitary and create the finest of nature's nectar to herself. But yeah, God made it a little key, a little lock that only we can solve. And yay. So we speak up to that angel, and she leads us to the beehive. And if we open it and are gracious with the bird, she'll lead us to another one again. But if you take all the honey for yourself, next time she will lead you to a black mamba. That's just the poison, just the hidden aspect of that poisonous bee. Yay, because that's what you brought. This is what I brought. This is what I'm doing. I'm leading you places, lead you places, and what you bring is honey unto yourself, and not giveth a taste of nature's finest delectance to the lowest. No, not the lowest. Only a pigeon is the lowest to a fool. Crows and honey. At that time, the lush vineyards will become as patches of briars. All the land will be one vast thorn field, a hunting ground overrun by wildlife. No one will go to the fertile hillsides where once the gardens grew, for the thorns will cover them. Cattle and sheep and goats will graze there. Again, the Lord sent me a message. Make a large signboard and write on it the birth announcement of the Son. I am going to give you. Use capital letters. His name will be Marshalallah Hashalabaz, which means your enemies will soon be destroyed. I asked Uriah, the priest of Zechariah, the son of Jechabiah, both known as honest men, to watch me as I write, so they could testify as I had written it. Before the child could even be, before the child was even on the way, then I had a sexual intercourse with my wife, and she conceived and bore me a son. And the Lord said, "Call him Mashallah Ashalara Ashabaz." His name, prophecies. I should probably Marshallah Shabaz. Mahar Shalah Hashbaz. Marshallah Hashbaz. This name prophecies that within a couple of years before this child is even old enough to say daddy or mommy, the king of Assyria will invade both Damascus and Samaria and carry away their riches. Then the Lord spoke to me again and said, since the people of Jerusalem are planning to refuse my gentle... By the way, if you guys want to ask a question, I'll put this. Ask questions. Ask questions. I can answer. Boom. So yeah, if you guys have a question or anything at all, chip in. Then the Lord spoke to me again and said, since the people of Jerusalem are planning to refuse my gentle care and are enthusiastic in asking the king Rezin and King Pekah to come and aid them, therefore I have overthrown my people with Euphrates, mighty floods. The king of Assyria and all his mighty armies will be enraged against them. This flood will overflow all its channels and sweep you into the land of Judah, O Emmanuel, submerging it from end to end, O Emmanuel. Do your worst, O Syria and Israel, our enemies, but you will not succeed. You will not be shattered. You will be shattered. Listen to me, all you enemies of ours. Prepare for war against us and perish. Yes, perish. Call your councils of war. Develop your strategies. Prepare your plans for attacking us and perish. For God is with us. The Lord has said in the strongest terms, do not under any circumstance go along with the plans of Judah or surrender to Syria and Israel.
Do not let the people call you a traitor for saying the true God. Don't panic, as many of you. Don't panic, as so many of your neighbors are doing when they think of Syria and Israel are attacking you. Don't fear anything except the Lord of your armies of heaven, the Lord and the armies of heaven. If you fear him, you need fear nothing else. He will be our safety, but Israel and Judah have refused his care, and thereby stumble against the rock in their salvation, and fell fallen and crushed beneath it. God's presence among them has endangered them. Write down all these things as I'm going to do them, says the Lord, and seal it up for the future. Entrust it as some godly man is to pass it down to a godly man for future generations. I will wait for the Lord to help us, though he is hiding now. I'm not fucking hiding. My only hope is in him. I and his children. God has given me a symbolic name to reveal the plans of the Lord of the heavens' armies. For his people, Isaiah means Jehovah. Save his people. Jer-Shabah means remnant shall return. Marshal Shal-Shabah means your enemies will soon be destroyed. So, why are you trying to find out the future by consulting witches and mediums? Don't listen to their whisperers, their mutterings. Can the living find out the future from the dead? Why not ask your God? Check out these witches' words against the words of God. He says, if their messages are different than mine, it is because I have not sent them. For they have no light, no nor truth. My people will be led away, captive, stumbling, weary, hungry, and angry. I am angry. I should, we'll go back to what they said here. My people will be led away captive, stumbling, weary, and hungry. And because they are hungry, they will rave and shake their fists at heaven and curse their king, their God. Wherever they look, there will be trouble and anguish and dark and despair, and they will be thrust out into the darkness. All right. We're going to stop there for today. I think that was enough lessons, I think that was good teachings. The story really kicked up there at the end. No, I'm kidding. There's still more. Bless you guys for coming to join. I should start doing proper prayers for you guys. I bet folks would appreciate that. So I'll start doing those as well. We'll work those in. Ooh, I'm a little sore in places. I keep saying this. I'm getting better because I'm still a little sore in some of the nerves. But I cured a tetanus infection with my mind. But especially in my hands, a lot of the nerves are definitely fucked up. It's okay, because that's where the infection origined. And the bacteria does something with it. I don't know the particulars. Just, I fucking believe in bacteria. Honestly, dude, I was put into bad situations. But it's okay. They weren't actually bad situations. It's just situations that didn't have to happen, I guess, in a way. But yeah, they do, because it's time for me to teach you, So, anyways, bless you guys. I love you. May our Father in heaven be with you throughout your day, and his word be upon my tongue. Thank you.